We've known from many studies over the years that exercise can prevent disease and extend life in the young and old alike. Now we have data on middle aged people. Now, researchers have found that specific tests that can predict the risk for developing cancer and cardiovascular disease and all cause mortality in midlife have the answers for living a long and healthy life.
It shouldn't really surprise us. There's no more powerful anti-aging medicine than exercise. It does all kinds of things to keep us young.
And I think some of the tests might surprise people and how they can determine this. They're pretty simple.
There's some real straightforward tests now, particularly now that we're measuring mitochondrial oxygen consumption. That may sound like a mouthful to you, for those of you that don't even know what a mitochondria is, but the cells have these little power packs in them called mitochondria, and they make the energy currency of the body, which is called ATP. And we have about 10 to 15 to 20 pounds, depending on your body size, of these mitochondria in our body. So it's the battery pack, Vicki, that keeps our bodies working. And if we don't have enough of the ATP, which is the energy currency of the cell that we use, we wind up aging prematurely.
And some of the things that happen is that we have trouble getting in and out of a chair. Our grip isn't what it used to be, like when you give that firm handshake.
Well, these are studies that were done, actually, Vicki, out of the British Medical Journal in April of 2014. And what they did is a 13-year study that evaluated this in people over that period of time. They were aged 53 when they started, and they were 66 when they finished. They had about 5,000 patients, and they found there were about 177 deaths. And they found that those people who had the lowest scores for exercise were the ones that had the highest rates of death from cardiovascular disease and cancer.
Well, one of the other things is your balance. That's another way that they determined this. And it really made a big difference, just those three things.
Right. Those are pretty reliable. Grip strength and your balance and your ability to get up out of a chair at a certain speed can predict what kind of condition you're in. And people who are in this kind of condition, Vicki, they found in a second study that out of 1,680 men that were aged 49 to 83 who didn't have a problem at the beginning, that when they developed issues like osteoarthritis of the knee and couldn't do any exercise, they got into a lot more trouble of aging quicker and died at a faster rate.
And we're talking like 13 years.
Yeah, this is a long study.
Clipping 13 years off of your life.
Exactly.
So any type of ailment that you have, like you said, if you even have a little arthritis in your knee or whatever it is,
right,
and you can't exercise. So it's a good idea to figure out some type of exercise that you can do because it is so important.
Right.
I don't care what's wrong with you. There's some kind of exercise that you can do.
Oh, indeed.
And you need to figure out what it is and do it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you can't move, you can do visual exercises that we know can affect body strength. What we're really looking at here is the ability of the body to be able to use oxygen as efficiently as possible. And exercise is what stimulates that. So when we exercise a lot, we're training our mitochondria, those little energy packets in the cells, to make a lot more in the way of energy. And when they do, it keeps us able to do more exercise so that we become fitter. That's how we become fit. And we have longer lifespan with less disability.
I guess this is why you can measure that with the bioenergy test at your office, because when you do that, you're exercising.
Right. Well, it hasn't found its way into clinical practice yet. We know that this is a very good test that's done at a research level. But in Northern California, there are probably only a few places that even begin to do this on a clinical basis. And a lot of the universities like Cal and Stanford and et cetera have the machines, but they're not using it in a clinical way. They're using it for research. But the time has come that we should be measuring how efficiently our mitochondria use oxygen and how effectively we can make energy so that we can maintain the wellness that we need to stay young.
So just remember that even light intensity physical exercise can extend your life for maybe 13 more years.
Yeah, well, in that study, after a 13-year study, that's what they showed. But there are previous studies that show that even the couch potato, who doesn't do any exercise at all, if he just does or she does 1 more hour a week of exercise, that it increases longevity and it reduces morbidity. So exercise is the key here. We should all be getting as much exercise as we can. In this country, we're not getting as much as we could because we're so busy doing the things that we do to make money and provide for our family. So get started on the exercise program for yourself and your family. You'll have a healthier, longer life.